What is the most disrespectful thing someone has done in your home? My neighbor asked to borrow my garage while his was being renovated. I said sure, just for a few weeks. Big mistake. I came home Friday to find he'd turned my entire garage into a full woodworking shop. Industrial saws, drill presses, wood shavings everywhere. My car was sitting in the driveway getting rained on. When I confronted him, he goes, "Yeah, I started a small business. Don't worry, I'll cut you in on the profits." I never agreed to any business. I told him to move everything out immediately. He laughed and said, "Come on, man. I already have 3 orders due next week. I'll be gone by Christmas." It was September. The next morning, I woke up to power tools running at 6 a.m. My electricity bill was going to be insane. I marched over and he had 2 other guys helping him build custom cabinets. I said, "What is this? Who are these people?" He goes, "Oh, that's my business partner, Mike, and his cousin. They're helping with the rush orders." These strangers were using my electrical outlets, tracking sawdust through my property. Turns out he was advertising my address as his workshop location online. Customers were showing up at my front door asking about kitchen renovations. One lady wanted a quote for her bathroom vanity. I had to explain I wasn't running any business. Then I noticed they'd installed a mini fridge in the corner and set up a coffee station. They were treating my garage like their permanent office space. Mike's cousin was even taking phone calls for new customers while sitting on my workbench. I checked my security camera footage and discovered they'd been coming and going at all hours, sometimes arriving at 5 a.m., staying until midnight. My neighbor had given them copies of my garage door remote without asking. The final straw was when I found them using my garden hose to wash wood stain off their equipment, flooding my driveway with toxic runoff that was killing my grass. My neighbor was nowhere to be found, but Mike casually mentioned he'd gone to Vegas for the weekend. I told them all to leave immediately. Mike's cousin laughed and said, "Dude, we have a contract with your neighbor. We paid him $300 to use this space through October." I said, "He doesn't own this garage, I do. Get out now, or I'm calling police." They kept working like I wasn't even there. That's when I discovered they'd also been stealing my power tools. My cordless drill was missing from my toolbox, along with my socket wrench set and level. When I confronted them, Mike claimed they'd borrowed them and forgot to ask. I called the cops right then and there. The responding officer found my stolen tools in their truck, plus some copper wire they'd stripped from an old appliance in my garage. Turns out Mike's cousin had outstanding warrants for theft. While they were getting arrested, more customers kept showing up looking for their custom furniture orders. I had to explain that the business was fake and they should probably contact their credit card companies. My neighbor came back from Vegas to find police tape around my garage and 3 very angry customers demanding refunds on his front lawn. He'd taken their deposits but hadn't started any of their projects. I called my lawyer friend who sent an official cease and desist letter. The neighbor panicked and offered to pay me $500 monthly rent plus cover all the electrical costs and property damage. I said no deal and changed my garage door locks that weekend. When he tried to retrieve his remaining equipment Monday morning, he couldn't get in. He started banging on my door, screaming about his tools being trapped inside. I handed him the cease and desist and said, "Should have read the fine print about property removal deadlines. You have 48 hours to schedule pickup with me present." He had to hire a locksmith, moving company, and storage unit. Cost him $1,500 just to get his stuff back. Mike sued him for breach of contract, and the customers filed complaints with the Better Business Bureau. The city also fined him for running an unlicensed business from a residential address. Last week, I saw him setting up shop in his own driveway with a tiny folding table and a handsaw. My grass is finally growing back.